All right, in this video, we will go over the solutions to test one. So your order for your questions are going to be different than mine. Your numbers for questions are going to be different than mine, but the questions themselves are the same. So let's begin. So what's the name of this acid? So this is one of the acids that I asked you to learn the name of. H2PO4 is phosphoric acid. So that is the answer there, phosphoric. In the following isotopes, how many protons and neutrons are there? All right, so for this, if we look, there's a couple ways to do this. One, you could look up Ba on the periodic table and see that it has the atomic number of 56, or just right here, 56 protons. Then 116 is the atomic mass. So to get the neutrons, it's 116 minus 56. That's 60 neutrons. All right, number 3, what is the molecular weight of TiC2? All right, so Ti, if we look on the periodic table, Ti, titanium, has a weight of 47.867 plus the weight of 2 carbons. So 2 times 12.011, and that'll give you something like 71. I didn't calculate it out on right now, but that is how you do the math. All right, true, false. CCl4 is a molecular compound. So carbon and chlorine are both nonmetals, and when nonmetals form a compound, it's always molecular because they have covalent bonds, so that's true. For the element F, tell me the following. Will it be in, what is the charge of the ion? All right, so it's a halogen. It's in column 7. Halogens are always -1. If you're negative, you're an anion, and you're on the right side, so you're nonmetal. Well, SR is in the second column, so it's +2. That's a cation, and it's a metal. So that's F in SR. NiC2 is a molecular compound. So nickel is a metal, Cl is a nonmetal. Those form ionic compounds with ionic bonds, so that's false. Select all statements that are consistent with Dalton's atomic theory. So elements combine in whole number ratios. Yep. You can convert one type of element to another. Nope, that is alchemy. All oxygen atoms are identical. Yep. Carbon and hydrogen have the same mass. They certainly do not. So that is the 2 answers there. All right, FeCl2, what is the name? All right, Fe is a transition metal. What that means is we need to use our notations with our Roman numerals. Chlorine is a halogen, so it's always -1. So overall, if we have 2 chlorines, that's -2. Therefore, for this to be balanced, iron has to be +2. So that's iron 2 chloride. Number 10 down here, CO2's molecular compound, carbon and oxygen, both nonmetals. That'll make this molecular, so true. 11, what's the definition of a solid? So constant volume, constant shape, and low movements of atoms. That's a solid for us. O2S4. So this is a covalent compound. And with covalent compounds, we have to use the di and tetra. So this is dioxygen for 2 oxygens, tetrasulfide. Select all the chemical properties listed. So we went over this like week 1. That's acidity, and that is toxicity, are the 2 chemical properties. How many seconds? 250 seconds or how many milliseconds? So 250 seconds. 1 second is 1,000 milliseconds. So that's 250,000 milliseconds. I'm working with OT. OT has 3 isotopes. What's the weight? So what you do is you take the weight of each isotope. So isotope 1, 20.61, multiply by your percentage, 0.34, plus the weight of isotope 2, 21.74 times the abundance, 0.6, plus 22.48 times the abundance, 0.06. Add those up together, and that is your molecular weight of OT. Balance the following reaction. So let's get out our table. We have MgNOSi reactants, products, 3Mg, 1Mg. Nitrogen, 2 nitrogen, 4 nitrogen. Oxygen, 10 oxygen, 13 oxygen. Si, 1 Si, 1 Si. Right, so I'm gonna go with magnesium to begin with because I have 3 on the left, 1 on the right, and it's only in 1 compound, so make that a 3. So I go up to 3 magnesium. The right now has 19 oxygens. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 10, and now 3 silicons. All right, so I just unbalanced my silicon. So I'm gonna put a 3 there. So 3 silicons. Oxygen, 3 times 2 is 6, plus my original 8 is 14. So my nitrogen's also unbalanced. So it looks like I should have started with silicon or nitrogen because I need to have multiple nitrogens on the left-hand side. So I need to put a 2 there. Makes my magnesium 6. 2 times 3 is 6. Makes my nitrogen 4. And now I have 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 plus 6 is 24. Right. So that's 24 there. Plus, sorry, I forgot the other 2 here. So let me recount that. 2 times 4 is 8. 8. No, I didn't forget that. Getting ahead of myself here. So now we have 6. So I need to make this a 6 to balance that out. 6 magnesium, 6 silicon. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 10 is 28. All right, so 6 silicon on the right, 3 on the left. So another change we have to make that a 6. 6 silicon. And then look at the total number of oxygens. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times, so this is total of 12 oxygens right here. 2 times 4 is 8 times 16. 16 plus 12, 28. So I went a roundabout there because I didn't actually remember the solution. So you just saw me doing a work in progress of how I just kept going from left to right, left to right, left to right. All my numbers are now balanced. And so the answer is 2616. All right. So number 17. How many atoms are there in 56.02 grams of CTA if it weighs 103.41? All right. So remember, we go from atoms to moles and go to grams. That's the types of conversions we can do. So I start in grams, I need to go to atoms, so I need to go to moles. So 56.02 grams, 103.41 grams in 1 mole. That's my molecular weight. Grams cancel out. And then we have 1 mole, 6.022 times 10 to the 23 atoms. Multiply everything on top, divided by everything on the bottom. All right. PCl3 is a molecular compound. They're all molecular. They're all, sorry, nonmetals. So that is true. Remember, nonmetals make covalent bonds. 19. Write the following using the isotope notation XA. We talked about in class if you have oxygen with 7 neutrons. So the XA notation is you write the element dash molecular weight. Oxygen has 8 protons. 8 plus 7 neutrons is O15. All right. How many sig figs does this have? So we have parentheses, so we have to do our subtraction first. 444.9. And I am going to get the calculator out for this one because it's very important. Okay. Here we go. 544.621 minus 444.9. And we get 99.721. But remember, for sig figs, we have to go to the last decimal when addition and subtraction. So it's 99.7 multiplied by a number that's 5 sig figs now. So you pick the one with the lowest when you do multiplication and division. So it has 3 sig figs. Right. I have 4.43 grams of paint. How many milliliters of paint do I have? That's the density. So my answer should be in milliliters. So if I have 4.43 grams of paint, and for every 7.83 grams, I have 1 milliliter. Grams cancel out. My units is milliliters. So the answer here is simply your weight divided by your density gives you a volume. All right. 22. Last question. 1.25 kilograms are how many grams? So 1.25 kilograms. For every 1 kilogram, there's 1,000 grams. So 1.25 times 1,000 is 1250. Right. So that's test 1. If you have questions on this, please let me know.